knowledge is power. I used to hear that and be like, oh cool, you know, knowledge is power, right on, man. But it's like, no, I don't think you get it. It's like, knowledge is power. And if you actually realize that it is a thing that allows you to get ahead in this world very slow or very, very fast, you start to learn to want to get your hands on it. What's up, y'all? My name's Tim Reed. You're in the right place. If you're new to the channel, this is where I demystify the mystical in the self-help and the personal development space. I'm going to give to you the practical and applicable tools that I've boiled down over time that I've used to change my life. All right, man, let's go. Knowledge, quite simply, I've been thinking about, it's really time, is what it is. If all of us were born on the same day, on virgin earth, with no knowledge here prior, each one of us would have to go through our experience, trial and error. That's the whole thing. Like, all knowledge that we have has been trial and error over time. And whenever I go to school for like architecture, they can tell me what foundations to make, how thick to make them, for how big the structure, how deep, how wide, what ingredients to put into the concrete, and what ratios to make it stronger, weaker, for what sort of structure. And that has been over the accumulation of our 10,000 year written history, and not just 10,000 years of written history in a linear way, also 10,000 years of different people doing different things. Like, it's exponentially, just imagine how much time that is to get to the point where, here, this is the foundation that you should lay in this circumstance. They're basically saying, instead of reinventing the wheel, just put it on your car and go, you know? They're handing you the steak with the fat trimmed off of it. Now, that being said, I don't think most people realize how real that saying is. Knowledge is power. And I'm about to put it into the correct perspective for you. So let's take one person that went to school for architecture, okay? And then thrust him into the society of people who are doing the trial and error thing on virgin earth. No knowledge has been accumulated yet. That dude is going to be able to just do things other people just can't do. And it's going to be light years ahead of what they're doing there, that it's going to be so profound that they'd probably consider that person a god, or be like, whoa, you're our leader now. When you have the knowledge, it really truly is power. But also think about this too. People that didn't have knowledge of physics, thermodynamics, science, astrology, just everyday people, back in the 60s when Kennedy said we're going to go to the moon, they said that's impossible. They just couldn't fathom it. But the person with knowledge of physics and all of the other stuff was like, dude, we can do this. But the thing is, most people after they got out of school haven't learned anything. Not from a book. Most people don't ever pick up a book anymore. They say, school's done, my learning phase is over. Big error. And to put this into perspective even more, like whenever we all grew up, you know, in school, whenever we were on the playground, we talked about sex and women and all of this stuff. Then we got 18 and then we got married, and well, our knowledge left off there. We never really progressed on it. Now that means we're adults operating off of knowledge that's never evolved. Now there's this Roman maxim back in the day. The emperors used to say, he that would be deceived, let him be deceived. And basically he's saying, it's not our job to educate the masses. It's not our job to make sure they know who they are in the grand scheme of things. It's not our job to educate them, tell them what we're doing. We have all heard, ignorance of the law is no defense. It's your job to know. It's you that's supposed to know. If I use the NASA example, the people didn't think that it was possible for us to get to the moon. Well, it would seem that way to the person who doesn't know. But to the physicist, it's actually a reality. But just think about the person who's never learned, the person on virgin earth, compared to the person who knows how to get you to the moon. Then think how we have literally been operating off of kindergarten and playground knowledge of sex, just that area, and it's never progressed after that. Well, just think about somebody who has went to college for political science or philosophy and has not just 10,000 years of accumulated knowledge, but 10,000 years of accumulated knowledge from a million different people who have trial and errored their way in the endeavor that they are in, like architecture, political science, or the person who's making those sort of moves. Just think how powerful he would be to people who are on earth and have not learned past high school. Big time different. And that person is going to be so powerful you can't even believe it. And whenever you realize knowledge is power, then you'll stop being like, oh, that's cool, and move on to something else. You'll be like, I need to get me some of this. And you'll start going to people who have it. And when you become a student of things that work, we're talking making so much progress that it's ridiculous. And if you have faulty knowledge, you're just going to spin your wheels a lot. And that's what they want. If I was running a race with somebody that was equal in nature with me, they had the same capability with their mind, their body had the same potential, they had unlimited potential just like me. If they were heading in the same direction, they'd be competition the whole time. The best scenario for me is to get my opponent going not in the same direction, but 180 degrees opposite direction. Because every mile he goes there, well, that must mean he's got to cover one back to the starting line and then one back to where I'm at. And that gap just increases each mile. Each one of us runs in each direction. And not 79 degrees in the opposite direction, because that's not as efficient. Okay, he can still come around faster to where you're at, but 180 degrees opposite. Now, what I'm saying with that aspect is, if I want to be rich and I want to achieve great things in life, why would I act like 99% of people have never accomplished that? By definition, what they're doing isn't going to get me there. And if you start living in the opposite manner of what everybody else is doing, you're going to start realizing that it's literally the opposite. What's the opposite of poverty? Well, it's wealth. What's the opposite of stupidity? Well, it's knowledge. Most people don't realize that the world is backwards. It's designed that way. And it ain't until we start going against the crowd and literally doing 100 things 180 degrees opposite is when we're going to actually start making real progress. Now, we're going to be getting a lot of feedback that we're going to look stupid and all that. Well, I'll tell you right now, if you're not looking stupid now, then you're probably fitting in with everybody else. And if you're fitting in with everybody else, then that must mean you're moving in the same direction as them. And if you're moving in the same direction as them, you're going to get the same outcome as them. Your ultimate barometer for whether you are heading in the right direction is the reaction you get from people. Is it like, whoa, what's this guy doing? He's doing everything out of the norm. You might just be making progress then. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Please share, like, and subscribe for more content. Hit the notification bell below. Hit all so you can get all of my stuff that's coming out. Please follow along. Let's fucking go.